Hey, Nick.
Hey, Joe.
What's going on, man?
Tesla Model Y.
Tesla Model Y. You have driven one of these before.
I have not through the canyon.
Right.
So I haven't had fun with it, but I've gone from an A to B.
I have to say, I was not expecting to enjoy this car as much as I am. It's a little overwhelming because there's so much to process just because the layout is so completely different from any other car I've ever driven.
Right. How did you find looking at the miles per hour while driving on the freeway and stuff over here instead of in front of you?
I found I nearly sideswiped a whole bunch of cars and trucks on the highway.
I did notice that. I mean, the whole time you were driving, I thought, he must be on the computer and not driving because there's a lot of,
exactly.
like, out of nowhere, just...
Well,
this.
I kept thinking it would be like beeping at me, and it didn't beep, and I looked over, it's like, oh, that's a truck, and I'm like, you know, my side mirror is about to kiss its wheel.
Right.
I mean, it is a lot to take in, and you've got to really reorient yourself. I do wish it had indicator flashers on the left and the right, just because you're so used to looking forward for that.
Right. I wonder what the learning curve is on getting used to that, because I'm sure it's fairly quick.
This interior obviously goes a very different way, and it's very deliberately not trying to be any other car interior. It's like when they put the steering yoke in the Model S.
Yeah.
The power is instantaneous, and the one pedal driving is very, very cool.
The regenerative braking? That?
Yeah. Well, the fact that you can, you don't have to use the brake pedal in a lot of situations, like in terms of stop and go town driving. You just take your foot off the brake and take your foot off the accelerator and it brakes coming up on a stop sign or what have you.
Brakes and charges.
Right, and regens.
Yeah. Comparing it to other cars, it feels like it's in a league of its own. It sits on its own little perch.
Right.
And it's not to be compared to the Audis, the Fords, the BMWs.
Right.
You know, it's really carved its own way in the market in a way that no other car manufacturer really ever has.
And its own culture, yeah.
And its own culture, totally.
This car feels like really nimble.
Right.
In some ways, it kind of doesn't feel completely unlike my Integrale, and that when you really got into it, the front wheels kind of started to do their own thing, and this, because obviously it's a dual motor, so there's one on the front. I mean, it should be said that this is not the typical environment for a Model Y.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a sports sedan. That's the Model 3. This is an SUV. But I feel like a super soccer mom right now, just raising hell.
I'm getting Timmy to practice. It's the last thing I do. Oh God. Will, you may not get your car back.
You can't do that with an e-tron.
No, I think, I mean, obviously I haven't gone hard in this car yet, but just from passenger seating, this feels much better than the e-tron. The e-tron is just like, I like it. I understand it. I think it serves its purpose in this sort of like electric SUV segment, and it makes sense. It's just uninspired to me. And not to...
Yeah, like, no, I'm with you.
You know, it just feels dull.
I mean, look at my face, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is an exciting car to drive.
In fairness, when we did... 2 seconds after getting into the canyon in the e-tron, we were running out of juice and needed to travel 20 miles in order to fill up, so we didn't get to go that hard. I don't think it would have done this.
No, I mean, I will say that I think if you have an e-tron, especially if you're not in LA, keeping it charged does become part of the conversation and part of the through line for your own story with that car.
Totally.
Whereas I think with this, just slowing down a moment so I don't get too sick reading this, you know, the range on this guy, Model Y long range is 318 miles. The e-tron has 222 miles. And you know, that's
significant.
75 miles.
That's significant.
Which is significant. You know, that's 2 or 3 days worth of driving for a lot of people if you're if you're not charging it in between. You know, pricing wise, they're so close. I mean, basically they're within a few $1,000s depending upon how you get it equipped. But part of the reason why is not the sticker price, is because Tesla now, no longer qualifies for the $7,500
rebate.
The federal rebate, because the incentive to manufacturers is over after you've sold 200,000 units, and Tesla's already done that, whereas Audi has not.
Right.
So once you factor that in, as we said, I mean, there's 1,200 pounds between this and an e-tron. So do you want to have a go?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Model Y.
Model Y.
Let's go catch that little Miata.
Let's see if you can, Nick. Oh man. Oh wow, dude. This. Oh.
The steering wheel is very small. I like it.
It's like a nice.
Big. It's like a really nice sized wheel.
It's nicely weighted. The steering too.
Yeah.
God damn. Wow. We're gonna get ya.
Ooh, this thing moves.
Yeah. The sensation as a passenger is just so completely different from driving.
It's terrifying.
It's a total vomit comet.
Yeah,
it's a complete vomit comet.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, because I could tell you were clenching a little.
I was sweating.
On the way up here. Wow.
Oh, come on. You're in a Miata, bro.
Come on, bro.
It's the best little handling car ever. And I'm keeping up with you in a Model Y.
I just had one of those moments where you're like putting your foot all the way down on the floor, hoping there's a brake pedal on your side as well.
Right.
Oh,
he almost died.
Miata's having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah. I feel
Laying it
like
down.
I shouldn't make him nervous because I almost killed him.
Yeah, you can't do this in an e-tron. This isn't.
No, this is it's better, I think. I think it's a lot better. I think the e-tron is great if you're just, I don't know. I just, it's so hard because I don't really know who's buying these cars and what they're doing with them. And I think I can assume that. And it's just people, daily driving regularly through the city. And then I guess it doesn't really make a difference. But if you want to go through the canyons every once in a while and keep up with a Miata, I think there's it's Tesla 100%. I don't even think it's a question.
I mean, this is an engaging, invigorating car to drive. I mean, it just puts a smile on your face. And it feels like once you start getting into it, it does kind of feel surprisingly kind of scrappy and fun. Whereas in the e-tron, it feels like the brakes might catch on fire.
This is just peppy and fun, and you can kind of throw it around a little bit. Now, I'd really love to drive the performance model and see, but I agree that it compares to like your Lancia.
It does, doesn't it?
It does. It really, it feels like it's in the same vein,
It's got this little car that could thing, only in this you're always going like 40 or 50 miles an hour faster than you would be in the Lancia.
Right.
Not maybe 20 or 30, not 40 or 50, but 20 or 30 for sure.
Yeah, I actually think it's better when you're putting speed down than when you're just kind of cruising slowly. I think when you're cruising slowly, you get I mean, you get it here too, but there's a decent amount of road noise. It's not like completely quiet. You can sort of hear like wind a little bit here. This, I imagine, if it's a summer day and you're driving through Arizona, is very hot. Right. Because it's hot right now.
Right. Should we let this poor Miata regain his dignity and give him some space?
I was thinking about it, but also he could move over. I mean,
he could let us pass.
He could just let me pass. I'm not like right on his butt. He doesn't want his girlfriend to know that a Tesla Model Y long range passed him.
How fun was that? I mean, so good, right?
It's a great car.
I was thinking this is going to be one of those days where we have to kind of fake the enthusiasm.
Right.
We've all been there.
Right.
And it was not one of those days.
No, this car's peppy. It's fun.
It's fast.
And, in no way were we trying to do this video as a comparison to the Audi e-tron, but as that's the only other electric SUV we've driven, I just naturally am going to compare the two. And for me, if I'm shopping between either, for me personally, there is absolutely no question that it's this car.
Yeah. I
The
agree,
performance
yeah.
version, but this car.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, it just so happens we did them back to back, so the sequence of events in terms of when we were offered various cars to drive.
Right.
But these are cars that people are cross-shopping. I mean, the natural competitor.
My girlfriend is cross-shopping.
Yeah.
Erin is looking between this and the e-tron. We're kind of in a fight right now because she really wants the e-tron and I really want her to get this.
Well, it's kind of like your friend Mike, who called this car a bubble car.
Yeah.
I think for some people, because there is, I mean, you had driven one of these before, I had not.
Yeah.
There is definitely that initial reorientation process where nothing is where it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Everything is very useful once you find it and very easy to find once you find it, because you basically, instead of putting on your car brain, you just put on your iPhone brain.
Right.
And then
It's like driving a fast
instead
iPhone.
of looking through switches and knobs, you're just looking for menus and sub-menus on the tablet.
Yeah.
And once you figure that out,
it becomes second nature.
it's easy.
Okay, well, next question.
Yeah.
Last week when we were driving the Audi, I said, I think people who are car enthusiasts buy Teslas.
I know where you're going with this.
You said, that's absolutely wrong. You're an idiot. He didn't say that. That's what he was thinking. That's what he was thinking.
I thought it.
And I felt it. How do you feel now, 2 weeks later or a week later?
Yeah, you're right. Do you want to stop it there? Boom. Smash that subscribe button. Thank you for watching. I was wrong. Peace out.
There's 6 different farts.
Make it fart at me. Again. Nick, really?